In the 181st Block Talks, we speak with Alex Nascimento, blockchain faculty at UCLA, who talks about the challenges and learnings of navigating the ever-changing crypto landscape. I'm your host, Maurício Magaldi, and this is BlockTalks, your weekly digest from blockchain for business. These news are not a form of endorsement, sponsorship, or encouragement for consumption and are meant for educational purposes only. All right, everybody, I'm here with my friend Alex Nascimento, who's going to tell us who he is and what he does with blockchain. Alex, finally, welcome to Block Talks.
Thank you very much, Maurício. It's a true pleasure to be here. We've been trying to do this for a while, so I'm super excited to be here. My name is Alex Nascimento. By my last name and my friendship with Maurício, you guys can tell that I'm Brazilian. So I'm Brazilian American, and I teach blockchain and Web3 for finance at University of California, our UCLA division in Los Angeles, and been in the space doing a bunch of different interesting things since 2016. Yeah.
How did you find blockchain? Because as you're an OG in this space, I am assuming you came from a previous career. So how was it finding blockchain? What triggered? What interested you in the first place?
Like many people in the industry, right? There was just a, a storytelling. Let's tell it. Let's put it this way. So I went to UCLA for my MBA, and then I graduated in not a very good year to graduate for those of you who are old like me and Mauricio in 2008. Which was the hype of the financial meltdown. So I had the opportunity to start teaching at UCLA and did that. And I was doing that, teaching a bunch of tech related courses in our continuing education school, in our engineering program. And then in 2016, I met a friend of mine who became a dear friend, who was a guy working on the MetaMask project. And he started showing me some of the ICOs that were coming around. And, it wasn't anything that you needed to be too smart. It was just too much attention, too much FOMO. So I started investing in some of these ICOs and started to get like very interesting returns. At the time, I was part of an angel group in California called Tech Coast Angels. And Tech Coast Angels is the largest angel group in California, and it meets at UCLA at our business school for one of its meetings. So we're discussing about returns. Bitcoin started to get really hot in 2017. As everybody knows, it went from 1,000 to 20,000. And in one of our Tech Coast Angels meetings, one of our very senior faculty members at UCLA, a gentleman named George Abe, who that guy is truly an OG in technology, very early on, Qualcomm executive, suggested that we should follow the trend and UCLA should have a blockchain initiative. And because I was very interested in the space and looking at Ethereum and what was going on, I raised my hand and was appointed to create the curriculum. And just to conclude that story, and that was 2017 and 18, the SEC, as everybody knows, said, well, you can't issue any more ICOs, right? ICOs are unregulated securities in the eyes of the SEC. That steered us to look at the space from a very, very regulated point of view, which obviously was the only way that an institution like UCLA would support the initiative, was if it was from a very regulated point of view. So we took a deep dive into the space, working with institutions, working with banks, Bank of America, larger players in the financial industry, and ended up writing a textbook, which is now being used at UCLA, and been in the space doing different things at different points of the curve.
Yeah, it's spectacular, man. I think you play such a You play in such a special and dear space to my heart, which is education. Is obviously one of the reasons why I do what I do with the show, and also a big chunk of my day job building Midnight, which is educate builders in how to do build better apps, and it's such an important function in the space in where we are and when we are in crypto and in blockchain, and it's pretty special. What are the things that you've seen, especially in the education space, recently around blockchain that you felt are like confirming, your calling in being an educator and a promoter of the technology adoption that you feel like, okay, I think I'm in the right track here.
It's very interesting because over the years, and I'm sure you felt that way, right? We doubted ourselves, and and everybody in the industry who has been for more than one or two cycles saw the bloody days where you're like, is this going to go somewhere, right? Did I make the right choice of putting my name and my career on the line for this technology that I believe would change the world? Uh, so very early on, when the SEC came around and said no more ICOs, we took the position that either institutional players would accept this and would adopt the technology, or it would continue to be something that people geeky and nerdy like myself were passionate about, but wasn't going to really take off. And fortunately, we saw that thesis come to life, right? We saw like larger banks, like banks in Brazil and BTG Pactual, and the larger banks in the United States, and the Swiss Stock Exchange, and Japan coming along, and other institutional players coming along. And I think that the the point of Chasm where it really kind of like hit everyone and said, now blockchain is here to stay. Now Bitcoin is never going to die, is when we got the ETFs approved. So I would say it was a long ride until last February, but it was all worth it.
And in that regard, Brazilians have moved a lot faster in the regulated market, with Hashdex really pioneering Bitcoin ETFs before anywhere in the world. And I think it's also testimony to how Brazilians really embrace disruptive technologies in a different manner. And I actually I would love to have Marcelo on the show at some point. But in that regard, in terms of innovation, what were the things that you've seen coming from the academia that would also were also indicators of the state of the industry, in the sense that there's formality but also innovation coming from, say, your students or your faculty? What are some examples you've seen or participated on in academia that kind of keep you going, I guess.
I think that we've seen a number of different things that came out of academia, right? Avalanche, who's a big supporter of our work, and a big shout out to John Nahas, who also sits in LA, came out of academia, right? Came out of Cornell. Other things that I like, and maybe obviously I'm biased because I'm a UCLA Bruin diehard. The Frax team, Frax Finance, those were UCLA students, and they're now, the last time I looked, like probably the top five stable coin for DeFi. So for those of you not familiar, I would say a big shout out to Sam Kazamian and his team, and check out frax.finance. But we've been seeing a lot, right? It's super interesting because the space is significantly driven by a younger generation, where a lot of the best developers are coming out of university. I work with a handful of developers out of Intelli and São Paulo, Hugo Neumann, Felipe Sadi, Gabriel Coleto. Those guys are phenomenal developers, right? And it's so impressive how young they are. I think they're not going to like that I say how young they are, but from a technical perspective and from a talent perspective, you're seeing so much talent coming out of universities at these, between 20 and late 20s.
Yeah, it's impressive how quickly people get good at this these day and age. Now, are you involved in any particular project or things that are kind of edgy or at the edge of innovation? Because I mean, I know you have a book out. Yeah, you're running the program there, but what are the things that you've seen firsthand that would exemplify where your headspace is right now?
It's very interesting that conversation because we've seen different cycles, right? I was in the midst of the cycle of mining when mining was not institutionalized like it is today. Just as an example, for people not familiar with mining, I think that today, if you don't have an operation of like at least 5 megawatts, maybe around 10 megawatts, which is enough to power a significant size city, you are not relevant as a miner, right? And so that was back in the day, and today we're looking at other things that really interest me. I'm working on a very interesting project called Panorama Block. Our idea is to have a panoramic view out of all the chains, and we use AI agents to do so. If anyone out of Twitter is hearing me on this podcast, we just got our account on Twitter blocked because we had so many different accesses from different AI agents that we're working on. But that's part of the story. That's part of the battles, right? So I think that we're going to significantly see a massive inflow of AI agents, not only in the Web3 space, but in all levels of society. And, uh, and we're looking at potentially having over 1 billion AI agents by the end of the year. So it's very interesting to me how this revolution of AI agents are making it the perfect marriage with blockchain, right? For people that are super tech savvy and nerdy like me and you, we don't care about that blockchain is not user friendly. We'll go out, we'll read, we'll lose money, we'll make bad decisions because the UX is not friendly. But for majority of the people, one of the biggest challenges of a blockchain is that it's not user friendly, and it's very complex to do what we call money Legos or investments that take multiple positions. So AI agents, in my opinion, are really like the perfect marriage for blockchain technology and for Web3 technology because you can facilitate the interaction of the end user on the front end, right? And really streamline all the processes.
Yeah, I like that. I've been shouting at full lung capacity that AI needs blockchain, and I've evolved since then to AI needs blockchain more than blockchain needs AI, but they need each other. And I think this AI agents phenomenon is something that I fully agree with you. I am, though, obviously being almost a decentralization maxi, concerned that there are aspects of these AI agents that are rather centralized, which I also think the industry is working to diffuse, which is interesting. Seeing how decentralized AI is something that is also emergent in the space. So these are kind of very at the edge of innovation style things that if you don't pay attention, you're gonna miss out because the change is happening way too fast. And keeping track of everything is rather impossible. I mean, I try not to die of anxiety and FOMO every week when I put together the weekly episodes because it's impossible to cover everything. So I tend to gravitate for things that towards things that are more interesting or innovative in the spaces that I am kind of interested about. in that sense, other than AI agents, what are the interesting things you're seeing, even if you're not attached to them, but in your day-to-day research, what are the things that caught your attention lately?
Aside from AI agents and this huge revolution, which I agree with you, I think it's I joke with the team, right? This revolution will not be televised. You will wake up and it's going to be all over. But we're seeing also a lot of institutional adoption. You're seeing Saudi funds trying to buy Bitcoin in large batches and not being able to, and then turning around and buying large stakes at ETFs like the BlackRock ETF. Uh, we're seeing we're seeing meme coins affect presidents, right? And we're seeing in both ways, in a positive way and in a negative way. So I think that this is what you call to be this kind of decentralized world where it's now no longer an option of not paying attention to this, right? The world is adopting it from all sides, from the president of the United States to the president of Argentina to the Saudi funds uh, to Wall Street. It's here and it's here to stay.
I want to double click on that because I saw when the Trump meme coin launched, and right after the Melania meme coin launched, I saw many people that I follow that were touting this as new quote unquote capital formation mechanisms. And I'm like, I don't know economics enough, but I don't recall that the funneling money from side to side in wealth concentration angles were the equivalent of capital formation. So maybe that's a different definition. Do you have a take on that? I mean, I know I'm kind of, being a little bit pokey and provocative here, but you're a professor. Like, what is your understanding of that phenomenon? Is academia actually addressing this as capital formation mechanisms, or this is seen as a potential rug or some form of social validation to a certain extent? What is the current assessment of you and your peers with regards to this particular meme coin phenomenon?
We all got super caught off guard with the innovation, right? Let's put it this way. Um, I, I think we saw a major turn on the lights kind of scenario and phenomenon because the previous administration, and I don't have any political affiliations or biases, just as a disclaimer, the previous administration was very strict and very pro regulation when it came to crypto, when it came to digital assets, when it came to blockchain and Web3 in general, right? Gary Gensler was very vocal about the way he saw things and the way things should run. It's very important that the audience who follows your channel take into consideration that the United States commands 40% of the global financial trade. And that's why all the banks and all the financial institutions around the world look at the SEC and look at the United States as kind of the guide, right, of what is possible and what can be done and what not can be done. And then we fast forward to early this year, and we have a new president who is the extreme opposite of the previous administration, a super pro crypto enthusiast, to the point of launching his own meme coin, right? That did very well as a meme coin. Uh, not financial advice here, but if you look at the how many meme coins are launched and the potential scandals behind meme coin launches, his was quite successful. And I think that puts a signal and sticks a flag in the sand that is very positive for everyone in the space. Regardless if you agree or disagree if he should or should not launch his own meme coin, I don't think that's the point here. I think that the point I'm trying to drive is an administration that commands 40% of the financial trades all around the world, right? Financial industry all around the world, signaling to the world that now we're going to go all bets, all, full house, all in into crypto. And, uh, and the people that he's putting in charge of that are big crypto enthusiasts like David Sachs, uh, Elon Musk, as everybody knows. So my peers in the United States that are involved in the industry are all super bullish about the next 4 years. Also important to remind people that Trump will not be reelected unless he changes the Constitution, right? Because he can only do a combo of 8 years. He already did four, and now his second batch of 4 years. But everybody's super bullish in the space about what is the future of crypto and blockchain for the next 4 years, and that impacts all areas. It impacts an area which you're very passionate about, which is zero knowledge and how zero knowledge is going to be implemented. I see a lot of room for zero knowledge being utilized in a more flexible um, regulatory framework, uh, more opportunities for innovative projects like meme coins or games or variations of such. Uh, More opportunity for tokenization of real world assets, and and obviously a huge demand for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin ends up making the national reserve, then then we'll probably see a massive appreciation of the top assets in the industry. So everybody's super bullish with this new administration, and I'm super excited to see what's going to unfold in the next 4 years.
In that particular angle, as we look towards what is possible, is there any particular change in the way that you are approaching education at the university? What are the things that you are currently offering to the students that with this new prospect you will be able to offer either differently or more? Because and I'm trying to call back to your first comment when in the previous administration when the ICO boom got held pinned down by the SEC, you changed what you were able to offer to your students. With the change on the winds now, what are the things that you're potentially forecasting or working on that you will now be able to do that you couldn't before?
That's super exciting to look into because obviously since 2017, we saw students come up with very innovative ideas, right? Which not necessarily had regulatory clarity on how those innovative ideas could be implemented. And that has always been a challenge, both for students, but mainly for the United States as an entrepreneurial society, right? You had a lot of exodus of founders, U.S. founders, going abroad and trying to find a place where they could implement their ideas, that being Brazil, which is very forward thinking. Our past central bank president was phenomenal and, if I'm not mistaken, elected the best central bank president in the world from his innovative point of view and the things that he accomplished. So, I'm very proud of being Brazilian on that front. And thanks, Roberto Campos Neto, for being such a trailblazer. But I think that now we're going to, if you talk about the US, you're going to be able to do all the things that you were not allowed to do in the previous administration. And that includes token generation events, ICOs, meme coins, games, uh, you know, virtual agents. There's two very interesting projects coming out of the United States. One is Morpheus, and those guys at Morpheus, Brian Borges, Luke Stokes, those guys are phenomenal. Eric Voorhees, they're really pushing the edge on what is available in innovation for those not familiar with what's happening in that space. It's you're creating AI agents or robots, right? Let's call it, and then you're tokenizing the robots. So the robots, each one, like if you would own a piece or a share of that robot, and then that robot can do a variety of different things, including investing your money and get fees for doing that work. And then you, as a developer, you will be compensated for developing that robot. So that's bleeding edge technology, but you are also going to see a number of founders coming back to the U.S. and really pushing innovative business models that include everything from identity and how you use zero knowledge proof to have people's identity tamper proofed on the blockchain. So I think that now we open this Pandora box for all types of possibilities given the new administration. And super excited to teach this at the university and welcome people to check it out. We have an online course that's open to everyone. You don't need to be a full-time UCLA student. You can take it remotely. Uh, and if you're looking at that, shameless plug, you can just go UCLA extension blockchain on Google, and it will be the first link, and you can sign up, and it's a certificate where you will get certified by UCLA as a blockchain manager, where you don't need technical skills, you don't need coding skills. It's very good that you have an understanding of how the technology works, but you don't need coding skills as a certificate for business people.
Let me just switch gears a little bit because I'm not getting any younger. So I'm trying to take care of myself better. And this year I started asking my guests, this is a 24/7, no border global industry, fully digital. The blockchain never sleeps, but we have to. What are the things that you are doing to keep yourself healthy, both mentally and physically, while working in crypto?
That's a challenge, right? Because I tell people, like, if you want to be in crypto full time and if you're going to make this your life, you need to have a bulletproof stomach. And it's not easy and it's not for everyone. I significantly recommend that you would have a small portion of your portfolio in digital assets, just because of the volatility can very positively impact a traditional portfolio. And the numbers are out there. I wrote an article for Zami a couple of years ago showing the numbers. If you have like 2 to 3% in Bitcoin in your traditional portfolio, how that alpha can positively impact you. But if you are like me and you live and breathe this, the volatility may kill you. Hopefully, it's not killing anyone. So I try to stay um, healthy by exercising. I'm a big fan of surfing, so I enjoy spending time in the water, and I don't carry an Apple Watch, so it doesn't beep. No signals of price and Bitcoin are bothering me. I take every day. I highly recommend this to people. I take lion's mane, which helps reduce your stress, improves your cognitive ability, improves your sleeping. It's just like an overall superpower of powder, and and yeah, frankly, you just gotta like not think too much about it because it will go down, but eventually it will come back up. I highly recommend people to exercise every day. Yeah, that releases stress like anything else.
Yeah, no, I've been back to CrossFit. It's been amazing. I'm not gonna ask you about what you teach people when they want to learn about crypto and blockchain, because that's what you are, a walking encyclopedia of the industry. But I will ask you about the one thing that our industry needs to fix right now to avoid working yet another 15, 20 years and then realizing that we didn't fix that one thing and we went back to square one. What is that one thing and why?
I think it was regulatory, but that's fixed, right? That's fixed today. So I s- I would go with the second biggest challenge of crypto, which is front end friendliness. It's uh, it's definitely not the most user friendly technology, and that usually makes people stay away from it. So, but we have apps like Robinhood that are doing a great deal around that. We have exchanges that are working relentlessly around user experience. And as a third point, I think that throwing back to you, one of the things that you're very passionate about that I think are super important for the mass adoption of Web3 is identity and privacy, right? Because if you think for the ones that are listening to us but are not so deep in the industry, one of the things about blockchain is that you can see everything that's going on. So at a certain point, I think that the individual wants to make sure that their privacy is kept. So things like the evolution of zero knowledge proof are extremely important for mass adoption and for the safety and well-being of everyone involved in the space.
Listen, we're about time, which is a shame. We could go on forever here. How can people stay in touch with you and learn more about you and what you do?
So my last name is not as super easy to write, but I'm sure that it will be on the podcast notes. So if you Google Alex Nascimento UCLA, I will come up. I'm on all platforms. I'm on Twitter, Seven Alex Nascimento. I'm on Instagram, on LinkedIn. You can find me. I think that the best way would just like type in my name and do UCLA next to it, and then it will pull out all the different profiles. But I'm happy to chat with people offline, either on the popular apps like Telegram. Telegram is the one you can find me at Alex Nascimento UCLA, or WhatsApp.
Sweet, my man. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure. And I hope to bump into you the next time we are in conferences together. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Catch us online. We're on Instagram at BlockDrops Podcast, on Twitter at BlockDropsPod or ZeroX Mauricio. We're on Lens at blockdrops.lens. We have a newsletter on LinkedIn. Write to us at blockdropspodcast@gmail.com, and you can listen to the BlockDrops Podcast at Spotify, iColab, Faberboom Tech, and all of the other major streaming platforms. Yay! Shout out to Alex for bringing such an insightful discussion to today's Block Talks. Don't forget to leave the ratings on your favorite player. This is all for today. Stay rare, stay weird. LFG.